welcome to the Holy Hour Podcast. It's the bi-weekly all-cure podcast. I'm Gavin and I'm joined by Chaz and Antonio. Hello, fellas.
Hello.
Howdy, Cure World.
For the first time in 2023, all together. Like Mighty Morphin Power
back.
Rangers. We're here. We're coming out with a bang on this one, you guys. We've been building this up for a long time. 30 years in the making. This episode has been everything's been leading up to this moment. So,
Up to right here, right now.
yeah. We
Might have been on the first email I sent you. It was like, when are they going to come out with the Wish remaster?
Lord knows anyone that's been listening to this show from the start or ways back has heard us bitching about this reissue not being out forever. And it's finally here. So I just don't even know what to do with myself anymore now that it's finally out. But,
We have to shift it to like Wild Mood Swings now or something.
Wild mood swings. But yeah, I guess that's a good point to make right on the top here is that, we've covered a lot of Wish talk over the years on this podcast. Donald and I started episodes 7 and 8, actually, were Wish part 1 and part 2. So that was our first stab at it. That one was mostly our general run through and a lot of like childhood memories attached to Wish and the tour and everything. And that one is what inspired Chaz to say, who are these idiots? I gotta call these people up. So we got talking with Chaz, and then by episode 85, we did a Wish Revisited episode where we talked about Wish with Chaz, and we got fresh new perspectives and some old feelings got re-stirred up. And then
I think I almost fought Donald in that episode, like physically. Like we weren't in the same room or the same state, but it would have come to physical blows.
Yeah.
You were like, I'm virtually punching you right in the throat.
That one, yeah.
It was like Virtuosity, that movie with Denzel Washington, and I would have just taken over and just come through the screen and just beat the fuck out of him.
Totally, yeah. We had a lot of upset
With love.
People were not, I feel like since then people have kind of opened up to some of the complaints of Wish that Donald had or what, but at the same time, and I felt unfairly lumped in with a lot of that because I love Wish. For a long time, it was my favorite Cure album and everything. So, but they were like, I guess you only hear the negative. So people were listening and hearing Donald say some negative things. And then I would get the email that says like, you guys suck. How could you say that about Wish? I was like, I didn't say it, man. What the fuck? But maybe...
I've ever only had two complaints about Wish, and they've always stayed the same, and they've never changed. So
right on. Yeah,
that was Wendy Time and the piano in Edge of a Deep Green Sea.
There you go.
Those are only two complaints I have.
Those are pretty much the solid ones from everybody.
You mean it's not the boing sound?
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Ding. Yeah.
Check. Wish bingo. Yeah, that's definitely going to come up. So we just get that out of the way first. But then we did the Paris and Show episode, which had a lot of Wish talk. That was episode 164. Then fairly recently, episode 190, we did the Wish 30th anniversary with Matt and Kate. And then, in between all that, we did an episode on Letter to Elise, an episode on Friday I'm in Love, episode on High. Donald did a Music
Episodes
for Dreams.
on B-sides?
B-side, well, we did all of...
well, yeah, but I mean, we still included those in the talk, so...
Yeah, so that's technically, this will be roughly counting the 10th directly Wish-themed episode. So here we are. We're going to finally perfect this on this one and get all the thoughts.
Regardless of people's thoughts on it, you can't destroy the data that it is their like best-selling album.
Yeah, and I think
so it's getting spotlights for multiple reasons.
Yeah, and I think the fact that we talk about it this much shows that it's a very important Cure album and crucial on so many levels. And whether you think of it as the mile marker or just the piece of art that they created as a band all coming to a head at this point in their career and everything too. So there's a lot to unpack. So I love going over it a billion times over. So here we are. So
let me pose this question. Is it that important because of the album itself, or because it was like the album they didn't touch for so long?
The reissue?
Like there was no rarity to it compared to the other ones. It's such a we have such a fascination with this album.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of it comes from the fact that like it was put out and that was it.
Yeah. I think that is a huge part because we knew that it existed too, because there were like shitty versions of the outtakes floating around out there. We knew there were certain songs that there were other actual versions of, so just knowing that it existed was tormenting. And I think it is just that kind of peak end of the golden era too. So it isn't like, I'm sure there's tons of shit from Bloodflowers that we haven't heard, but nobody's really like,
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. And then there's the controversy of how, some people just completely fucking hate Wild Mood Swings. So with this being the last of it, sometimes I think people feel like it's the last real Cure album that came out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, I guess as far as where people lay, and it is hard to knock Wish, as much as
I need some of that breakup sex. That's what it is.
Yeah,
I just need a little bit more, like just a little bit more. Like I know we're done, I know it's over with, but just a little bit more. Exactly. It could be 30 years from now, but just a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
but it's got so many. Yeah, and listen, it's got the poppiest of the pop fucking hit, but it also has probably some of the most beautiful, like melancholy shit lyrically Robert's ever written too. I mean, there's so many sides to this coin. You know what I mean? Like it's a fucking, Wish is definitely like a fucking, what is it? How many sides are on a dice for Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah,
that's Wish.
That one, it is.
You know what I mean?
Like, I don't know what that is.
The super nerdy one that has like a whole bunch of sides. It's that.
Yeah. With numbers that don't even exist. Yeah.
But, and I think just seeing this super deluxe fat version really kind of accents that too. We all kind of know it, but at the same time, really looking at it under the big microscope, you see how many directions this album could have gone in. You see how many different styles there are, and just the pure volume of what they were cranking out, is amazing. Because they went through this once before, with Kiss Me. It's kind of like another one of these like just art dumps, where they're just cranking so much stuff out. When you look at how much material. And going through like the little booklets and stuff in this, he addresses that they still had to choose outtakes to put in this. I think there's probably like a whole other, 2 disc worth probably. They probably could have,
Begs the question, why? Why are you I understand maybe for the physical release.
Yeah.
But why not? Why don't fucking put that shit up digitally? Why are you holding on?
Yeah, in this digital age, just drop it all.
True.
Fucking
and if you think
upload it all.
And remember when Disintegration Deluxe came out, they even did do a thing where it was like a whole extra disc just on their website. I think it was like a download thing, and you could download it. I still have it, luckily, and burnt it on a CDR that I keep in with my CD Deluxe, so it is like a whole nother disc, and there's some cool shit. Most of it is just like another kind of half-assed home demo version kind of thing, it doesn't sound drastically different, but I mean, like you say, why stop there, really? If you're doing this.
And I know I'm being selfish, but let the fans decide. I don't know. I know it's up to the artist to release their art, but at the same time, it's just like, why don't tell us, don't tell me what you were going to buy me for Christmas.
Exactly.
Exactly. Then don't give it to you. Yeah, it's like there's a lot of other cool stuff. Because
but there were some great aspects to it, and I went from having 1 copy of it on CD to now owning like 4 copies of it. I've got 2 vinyls, 2 CDs, cassette I'll never listen to. That I'll never listen to because I don't have a cassette player.
So I guess as we kick off, we'll zoom back the full scope of just the package. Let's go back a little bit. Let's zoom back before we totally dive into every little nook and cranny. But so just the physical release of all this now, like you're saying, it is pretty amazing considering we all had like 1 shitty tape at best, and then like a CD that was really scratched up, and then
Yeah.
the chosen lucky few out there have a vinyl or two, maybe, you know, but that they're like every time the bills start piling up, you start seeing it in the corner of your eye, and you're like, I could buy a whole house with this thing.
But even like 45s and singles. You know, I've been hunting Cure shit for so long, and I only have just the Friday I'm in Love.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty rad that at least everybody got a good crack at having it on a vinyl now, a double vinyl. The picture disc one, if you were just really wanted it, or just couldn't wait till your fucking package actually got delivered, which is a whole tale in itself of how long this took.
Your damaged package?
Yeah, your damaged.
The only thing that wasn't damaged in mine was the cassette. My CD was actually damaged, and
who knows?
And I've emailed them like 5 times. I'm never getting it.
Yeah, I want to talk about that in a little bit, like when we finally get to it. But like, some people are probably still waiting on the LP to show up when they just have the picture disc, and that's all they're, that's what they're living on right now.
I sent a few messages back and forth just a few weeks ago saying I still haven't got mine, and I think she's on
that's crazy.
East Coast, I think. So I was like, I got mine, and West Coast got theirs a while ago, and everyone else, I think everyone's pretty much but I still seeing people like, hey, check it out, well, it showed up, and then it's been so weird just that it's been so scattered, I feel like they just did a couple waves. I guess there were a few different companies you could have ordered it from, so different.
Right, so different,
pretty unacceptable.
Let's back up even a little bit further, because the pre-order process was fucking nightmare.
Yeah, totally.
And they need to do a better job with policing who does their shit. From their merch to stuff like this. And you shouldn't have had this up in like 5 different places where you could pre-order it from. There should be maybe 2, one for North America and one for Europe, or in the rest of the world, or whatever, maybe 3, whatever. But people shouldn't be having. I had to go through 3 different places to get everything, and it's just like I shouldn't have to do that, because the place is sold out. One place is sold out of the vinyl, but they have the tape, and the other place doesn't have the CD. So it went around in a circle. But I got it all. But it's just like, you guys gotta just sell it through your store. What the fuck are you doing?
All of it seemed shady. Even like when we clicked on it on that first day, I was kind of like, did this really go through? And they didn't charge you until like a week before.
You're not even physically selling it. Like, essentially the pre-order is like, just take the money and get the count of how many exactly you need of what. I mean, judging by how long it took, it's not like they were pressed and ready. They didn't know how many. That's all bullshit.
Because that was like July, right? When we did all that, when we did the initial pre-order, I think it was July.
The only thing that I saw was limited was the tape.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
There could be a limited edition CD.
No.
Was that limited at all? Because I remember seeing something about that being limited, like the one with all the bells and whistles, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it was. I think the deluxe one was limited that has the multiple CDs. The one CD of it just remastered, I don't think was.
But still, why are you limiting a CD anyway?
Yeah,
but like I understand we're in the pandemic and there's limitations on products and everything, but like.
Hey, I bet you Taylor Swift is not getting a fucking limitation on her vinyl.
No.
The tape should be the only thing that's limited. Like, I understand that. Everything else is like, why are we putting limits on that? And why are you selling out?
Especially when you have 6 months period at least, before anybody was getting this shit. I mean, that was a huge chunk of time. I think it was about 7 months if it was July until, now. So people still aren't getting it. That's like crazy,
Yeah. And then I guess the next part would be everybody getting them, and then the shipping.
Yeah.
And that, again, police your stuff, and I understand the postal service shit happens. Antonio and I have been collecting records for years. I've only ever had, I think, 1 record show up damaged with all the vinyl I bought through the years, and people are just posting nonstop. Like this is torn up, and like thankfully none of my stuff got
like
wrecked.
Explain to me how the inside fold of the CD was torn.
Dude, I don't know.
that happens when it's being packaged. That wasn't from the delivery.
Yeah.
That because it's in the second fold. There's a tear in mine that I did. It was like that when the plastic came off, and I was like,
that sucks.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. And people are like, I gotta buy a fucking another one because the jacket's all ripped and the vinyl's coming out, so I can't store it like this.
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm just like, so as soon as I got it, I took the records right out of it.
It's been such a long time in the making, because like we said, just building this thing up so much. You want to display it and have every little thing be perfect. If it was just some half-assed thing, fine. But
I will say, let's even go down to the fact that it's 180 gram vinyl, right? So it's 2 records, 4 sides essentially. Why the fuck is it in one piece of cardboard and not in a fold out? That's they really dropped the ball, I think, on the physicality of the packaging 100%. Yeah. Which probably, has a lot maybe to do with the damage. But I was shocked. I'm like, wait, this is all shoved into one? Yeah. I was like, huh?
Did you guys catch? I guess this is a good place for this one. I didn't catch it initially, but somebody on a Facebook page on the back of the vinyl, because the CD, since it has so many tracks, just has them all listed out like in a new way. But on the back, they do the kind of loop around like they did on the old cassette and stuff with the track listing. Yeah. But it's all funky on the track listing because it goes down to Trust at the bottom of the eyeball part. And then it goes backwards up. And they're upside down. Oh, yeah, they fucked it up. So, if you look at, your original one, it isn't like that. It's like the...
I'm looking at the original CD right now.
Yeah, the original
vinyl.
CD.
Hold on, let me grab the other original vinyl and hold it up and let me check.
And I think they're breaking it up because even the spacing isn't the same as it used to be.
Oh, yeah, it's totally fucking different because when it gets to the second half...
They're upside down.
It's not flipped so that it's easy to read. Wow. But you got to think about it. That these original art files, there's no fucking way they still had them. Yeah. So they had someone recreate it, and either the band said no, this made more sense to do it this way, or they totally overlooked it.
Yeah.
I did this for my T-shirt, and I recreated it in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The same way it is on the vinyl. This way looks stupid.
You mean you allegedly made a T-shirt?
I recreated it.
Further, another thing to mention at your interview for working for the Cure's marketing department. You're like, I made a T-shirt. I didn't have any trouble.
What the fuck is your problem?
Yeah, I was just like, man, that looks. And there's a huge gap between Letter to Elise and Cut because of that. It flowed a lot better the other way, but on this one, there's a huge gap between the two. So it's really just kind of awkward looking. I was like, weird. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but at the same time.
Is it? Wait, I'm trying to.
Well, they moved the barcode from which was off to the right on the back of the vinyl, which was kind of, I guess, in the middle of nowhere to the bottom, which I guess I kind of understand that, to the bottom there.
On the picture disc, it makes sense because it's totally round to have them all in the same direction.
Yeah, yeah. But this is there's no reason to flip the words upside down.
And they took the numbers off, which I don't really know. Why at this point would you change that? But so they were numbered on the original CD.
If I had my guess, I would say this was the thing from Elf, where the guy signed the thing and the pages were empty. Yeah. And Robert just signed off on it and just sent it off. Yeah, looks good, guys.
Yeah. So, and I think we're all in agreement then. Like you said, the booklet is definitely awesome with all the little tales in there and just some good background. Still can't read the fucking lyrics now that I'm old. That was my first sign of, I remember just being a little kid 100%. Sitting there reading this like it was no problem. And now I'm like, look at the lyrics. I'm like, whoa, I can't see any of these.
I can't read them for the CD.
But yeah, it was cool. I noticed on the listening party thing he did, a lot of the comments were kind of the same for the track by tracks. But yeah, it was very cool to have that written in there and a lot of good stuff. I won't rehash all of it. Hopefully everybody has their booklet and already read that. If they don't, you can.
We'll just read it and then we'll do the turn the page sound.
Yeah.
Like,
Bling, to the little chimes, cure chimes. But
just get a Robert going, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just happy I was able to read like his like stuff that he was commenting
like the
at
actual text.
It's like, yeah, I mean, there was some stuff that he said in there that like I don't think he's ever said or because I had no clue about, and I was like, wow. I was like,
yeah, some of the bigger stuff we'll sprinkle in when we go through them all here, but yeah, for the most part, just the songs, some cool little background on all of them. It's kind of neat because he hadn't really ever done like a track by track, of his own stuff.
Yeah,
like
but
that. So that's
you
cool.
know what? It also it showed a little semblance of giving a shit.
Yeah.
And for how long this took and how long it took us to get it, and we're all still waiting for the other. I was like, all right, you know what? It was like a little bit of really giving a shit.
Yeah.
I felt like, aside from just remastering it and putting it out,
Yeah, it's always nice when you hear directly from Robert when he's that DEK magazine when he was really talking about Wild Mood Swings and stuff, and he was really kind of digging in and being honest. And same with this by like saying, yeah, To Wish Impossible Things might be the best song on the out, like just making these kind of like grand statements and saying, oh yeah, I've kind of forgotten the sweeter side of Wish with Trust, and and I'm like,
he's like he like how much he loved those songs and how beautiful they were, and even like like Apart, like him like saying how like almost like it's a shame that they don't play it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like he was like, it was like brutally fucking honest. And
right.
At least because it's written down and it's being put in print, I feel like it's different. It's not like the interviews where he gives different answers to different people in different years for the same question.
It's nice when he kind of steps over to our side of the line and can kind of just look at Cure music too and be like, oh yeah, that is a great song. Stuff like that. So yeah, pretty cool. I guess as far as digging into that on the wider scope too, the actual remastering, which is the kind of the point of all of this, I think is a huge fucking difference and great. Great job on that. I kind of want to say as a disclaimer that, any kind of remastering compared to the old 92 version would have been a huge fucking improvement. Not that it was that bad even, but it's just the fact that it was from 92 and it's been so long compared to today's standard of remastering, and I think all of us have been driven crazy for the past 30 years of putting any song from Wish on a mix and it's like drastically different, quiet, compared to everything. So I mean, so much of mastering is just, or the remasterings is just, they're just turning it up real fucking loud, you could always just crank the old CD.
Yeah. Like I know he says in the booklet, he just felt like in the studio, it had all this low end, but then after he heard the master, it was like too late, and he was like, "Wait a minute, where was all that?" Which I don't think I ever felt wasn't bass heavy.
I never was like
that didn't. Especially being a bass player when I was younger, and when I first like became really obsessed with The Cure, I never said, "Oh man, I can't fucking really hear the bass licks on this." But apparently, it's something that was really harping on him.
Yeah. I was all like, wow, that is, and I'm like, well, it must not have bothered him too fucking much if he like waited 30 years to, you would think something like that he would have jumped on the first chance he had, but, so yeah, I mean, I think, they did a great job of just how clear it is, and something that I've listened to, all of us have listened to a billion times, and you can still always hear new little things. It is very on point with like Disintegration and stuff like that when you really have these like especially headphones or earbuds in where you're just like you're always hearing some new little part to all these Wish songs that you're like, oh yeah, or you just kind of focus on that for the first time, or not first time, but you know what I mean? It's just like it's like a great movie where you always see something different in each little scene or something in the background. You're like, oh yeah. So I think that the remastering does a great job of just boosting all that and making it so much more clear. So I think it's good job well done on that. I'll still take the CD over any of the maybe my record player just sucks, but I'm still I'll be like, I still hear shit way clearer on any CD than the best vinyl that I listen to. So but so I think that's pretty cool. Other highlights then, I guess, from the actual whole package as a whole. have to say that, of course, having those, what I was hoping for, the Lost Wishes on there and having good, clear versions of that is a huge plus. Finally, reconcile relief that I just have them in the best sound that I'll ever have them, and that's cool. So yeah, that was.
I did a Instagram live today of the tape. I was playing the tape on my tape deck.
Okay,
today.
Cool.
It sounds fucking awesome. So
yeah, I played it on mine too. So it sounds like a good tape, you know.
That's it works.
Like a good tape does.
Yeah, I was just never gonna be able to live with myself if I didn't just play it, you know. Like it says, y'all are suckers. You shouldn't have bought this. Like
it's like you thought we were gonna put music on this damn thing.
There's no music. Or the release date of the new album is on the tape. You have to listen to
it. All the tapes are limited because each of them had a little clue on it, and now we all got to join forces and figure out what the secret message is.
But yeah, that is.
And
rad.
we have to find a secret location and hit a button, and then the album will.
Then we'll find it. I guess just the fact. Did you have something else?
Good. No, I was just gonna say I was just really blown away. Like just the second I hit play, and I just had to go back and like. I remember I put open on, and I was like, holy fuck. And then I went back and listened to the original one. I was like, okay. And then I played it again, and it kind of like almost, I know took my breath away is kind of like a weird thing to say, but like I was like, whoa. I was like, this is how it was meant to be. Yeah. And it was just like, okay. And I did do the thing where I went track by track, and then like each time it was like hearing it almost for like the first time. So thumbs up on the remaster of the new stuff.
And I thought one of the other interesting takeaways, and I know we kind of mentioned it when they received that award, was like the true understanding of how much of these songs Simon actually like fully writes. I was never really aware of. So I'm like, it is pretty amazing how Simon's writing all these phenomenal songs, but still you can see Robert takes a great song and fucking make it.
He's
really fucking good.
Being humble to a certain degree,
and so the fact that the bass was kind of a little lingering in sound on the album, I find interesting because of how much Simon really had in the writing process of this album.
He was definitely jumping off point for a lot of these songs. So
it's just like some serious stuff. Like even in the mellow shit, like the bass is still so fucking prominent on this record. And the fact that it wasn't, always getting the proper sound, because some of it wasn't even the volume on it. Some of it I noticed just like the tone or the drive was more in the remastered one, like, and I was like, oh wow.
Pretty impressive. And I guess kind of on that note too, like in the booklet they go into the codes there with some of the names, and you'd be I think the ones that stayed the same were all the T ones, and he said those are for Teddy. Those were ones that Perry had brought in, but they just kept the name like T7. I guess like some of the Simon ones were S4 at one point, but then it would take on a different name. But they just kept a lot of Perry's as T whatever. But I was kind of surprised that there's that many T ones, so it's kind of cool that Perry was bringing in more than just Trust. I always kind of thought that was just his one little gem that he had, and that was it. But there's like I think 2 or 3 on the finished one, or they're T something, and I kind of felt like the old
T7, T8, and T6.
And I felt like the old like batch of Music for Dreams or whatever. There was even a few others. So I might.
Originally when I read those names, I was like, oh, well, maybe it was like the 6th track they recorded or demoed or that. And then I read that and I was like, oh, okay.
It makes sense. Pretty cool. I thought it was just like T2 Terminator or some shit.
I was just like, they're going to get the T1000, then we're all going to be out of luck.
Totally.
Have you seen this, boy?
I guess as a highlight thing too that I was just grateful for of the whole package was that it was so many outtakes and demos and alt versions versus sometimes when you get a reissue and deluxe stuff, like half of it is like live stuff, which can be cool still, but you know, we didn't need like a whole nother like show kind of alternate kind of thing going on, you know. I'm glad they only put the one real, I think End is the only live one on there. And that's cool, but we didn't really need it or anything. But so I'm glad that they didn't kind of overload it or sprinkle it in with just a bunch of live ones too, you know.
Yeah, and with how much I love A Letter to Elise, you know, that blue mix is great.
Yeah, that was another one I was going to say, just the fact that those remixes were included, because they got kind of the shaft on Join the Dots for some reason, or maybe not even Join the Dots they should have been on, but they definitely should have been on the Mixed Up reissue or something, but maybe they were just keeping it within the parameters of Mixed Up's time frame, or I don't know, but they were definitely lost. Those remixes are really good and were kind of never on anything, so...
And the demo version of it too is even beautiful in its own way. But I guess when a song is that good, it's hard to fuck it up.
Yeah,
because even the demo version, like his voice is so like it's just so like emotional in the demo version, you know. But then you also got the mix version. That's what I love about shit like this. Like I've always loved that song, and now you're giving me two more versions.
Two versions, like, it is. It's perfect because we've exhausted it so much. While it's beautiful to look at it in a new light,
and we've listened to the live versions that we have, and then we've, you know, like
the unplugged version. And,
we beat this damn album to death, you know, as far as listenings, you know. So it's so nice to just have like a whole new batch that we can just clobber some more and listen to it and squeeze every little drop out of these songs that we can. So,
but yeah, I feel like there could have been, like, we go back to it again. I feel like there could have been more, because this third disc that's on here, outside of the Lost Wishes stuff and the Letter to Elise Blue Mix, I don't really need any of the rest.
Yeah,
they could have thrown other stuff on here, even the End on for Live in Paris.
Yeah,
it's good, but I mean, give me more demos of, I don't know, fucking Wendy Time, because that fucking demo on here, phenomenal.
Yeah. And that was a portion I did want to reserve to that is, what do you wish that, actually it's a question, maybe we'll let Coulter from the Patreon kick this off. He wrote it. He said, what were you guys expecting to be included? Anything missing from the deluxe that should be there? And is there anything included you could do without? I believe there are some differences from the Music for Dreams demos we have already had and what ended up on the actual deluxe. Thanks. Speculation as to the next deluxe. Will it be Wild Mood Swings in 2034? Ha ha ha. So first part of that question, anything that you guys wish was on here that isn't?
I would have liked to hear, I know that Halo is technically on here as ALO, or with the AOO.
It's just the demo Halo.
Yeah, I would have liked to hear an actual demo of that song with vocals.
Yeah,
I agree 100%. Because I mean, that's probably my favorite. Might be like my favorite. One of my favorite Cure B-sides like ever. Like I love that song, and so I was happy it was like somewhat included. But you're right,
it's a cool demo.
I almost wanted to hear like a stripped down version of it with
an acoustic
vocal
version or something. It'd be like cool.
You know,
because
I definitely would have been.
It's almost not different enough. Yeah, it's just kind of the rough instrumental run through, and it's a little too. But it does play.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like when you go to look up a karaoke track on YouTube. Like, that's what it sounds like.
Well, that brings up 2 points I want to make on this too, with the idea of one, and I know I'm contradicting myself with it, but I do on some level wish, I know with Room and everything, and it goes against the other deluxes, that they did have the final versions of the B-sides on here with it, because you are kind of looking at like the progress of the song, and then you get the full final version. So it's a little weird that there isn't like the real version of Halo just on that. So when I want to hear all my Wish shit, it's all there, you know. I still kind of have to go.
Yeah, that's true, because you still have to pull out Join the Dots like CD 2.
Right.
You know?
So it's a little
some of
like you
these
still have
final
to
versions
thumb
of the
around,
B-sides.
but none of them have had that. So you kind of have to just go with the pattern at this point. It would be weird, and I
Well,
get
the thing,
it, but
I put it in the second disc, and I was like, okay, let's listen to B-sides without looking at any of the track information.
yeah,
And I was like, okay, none of these are B. What is going on? And I
yeah,
was just like, I was like, they didn't include them, and I was just like, oh man, that kind of sucks.
yeah.
Because it does, because I'd like to hear progression, and it was just like, why can't we get a remastered version of Halo or the Big Hand or anything like that?
Yeah,
Why
because
can't
they're only going to be the master from Join the Dots, which is
Yeah.
2004 or something at this point too. So yeah, it's a bit of a bummer, but I understand that.
Again, another thing, you could have gotten rid of the half of the third CD and thrown them on there. That would have been fine with me.
So I don't know, or just doing an online thing. Well, that wouldn't work for the B-sides, but yeah, just interesting. And always wanting more, I guess. The idea that you had said, I wish there'd been more scratch vocals and stuff. And I do feel like he kind of did play it safe, because he had some kind of like mumble tracks and stuff over these, because some of the old ones, like on Top's reissue and stuff, there is like a version of Caterpillar where he's just going, it is kind of cool to hear. I mean, maybe at this point he was so like, he'll basically say something, but then he just kind of goes off to his room and writes all the perfect lyrics and doesn't come out. And because it does seem like he does isolate himself pretty drastically with the lyrics by this point, but he had to have had some kind of melody while they were playing it live that he was just mumbling something along. And it would be cool to have some like rough takes. I'm sure he had rough takes, like where he was just, making up shit on the spot, or I don't know, maybe not, but it would have been kind of cool but then again, I kind of contradict myself, because one of the huge pluses of all this is that it really flows well. You can play like all this and it feels like almost like a real album. I felt
Absolutely.
like, so I was like, how the hell? Usually it's like when you get a deluxe or a reissue, everything is so choppy and you really are, just hearing pieces of shit and it's its own kind of mess. But you really can just put this on and it flows like a nice instrumental album for a while. Then it goes into like instrumental versions of the old, so in that regards, it's smart that he made it more listenable by cutting out, like if he was just going like some song, you'd just be like, oh god, it'd be cool to hear like once or twice, but I don't really want to like revisit that every time, so but
it's like, Robert, how about you do some scatting on this?
He's probably just saying some really ridiculous shit over like a part or something, it's just like But,
I listened to the whole second CD today just while I was cleaning and doing stuff around the house and writing, and like it just flows so well as just by itself. That it's a great CD, which kind of made me upset for the third CD why I'm railing on it so much as it doesn't flow as well. But I mean,
but it also kicks off kind of bad. Like I'm sorry that you never say it. UEA sound.
I always have to look it up. It's a Scotland.
That song to me just isn't like, it doesn't sound like a Cure song.
Really? I love that one. Yeah.
I love that fucking song, dude.
Really?
I was totally down with that one.
I don't know. I don't.
Dude, I could fucking just lay down and die to that song. It's so good.
I thought it felt we'll get into those a little more specifically, but it's weird how some of them feel a little more like Disintegration again, and then a lot of
I was just gonna bring that up. I was
it's
gonna
weird.
Be like, they need to talk to Dave Allen.
Because
there's some songs on here that are so in the same vein as Disintegration.
That would have.
Get him on the fucking phone and get those demos, because I want to hear them.
Totally. I guess while we're still on the wish we things that we wish were on it, Tom from the Patreon also brought up a good point. He said, omitted from the release specifically is Tape. My friend and I were pissed that they didn't include it anywhere on the 3-disc. It's such a great hypnotic instrumental. I've always loved the intro to Show, where it's playing whilst they show the crowds entering the venue. Such an iconic few minutes in Cure history, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on Tape not being on there? And I totally agree, because Tape's not on fucking anything other than that CD single from Sideshow. If you're wanting to stream it, I don't even know if you could stream Tape anywhere, could you? I don't think so.
I don't know.
So it's not. It wasn't on like Join the Dots or anything.
No, it wasn't.
No, it's only on show. That's the only
That
thing I know it's
sideshow,
on.
yeah, and even on show,
Yeah,
it's just a short version to kick off open.
yeah.
I think it's connected to open, even right. It's not even its own track or anything. So I think the only thing it's on is the fucking old CD single sideshow, where it's a 3-minute version.
Yeah, that definitely should be. I mean, they should have put the first song on the second disc and taken that garbage song Frogfish off the last song.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that fucker.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm glad I'm
What
not
a
alone.
terrible way to end that. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to jump ahead, but I'm like, yeah,
No.
that was an excellent point.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that's a great point. That should
and Matt
definitely
had
be on
also
there.
said that early on, saying I wish tape was on there. And of course,
Yeah.
I wish that Dave Allen mix had been on there, but I don't even know if Robert fully knows that exists. So good point. Yeah. So when he
Oh my
listened to our
God. I
podcast,
was
he was probably
fucking
like,
killed.
"What? There's a whole nother mix."
He's like, we're gonna have a deluxe edition come out.
You know what?
Everybody,
I mean,
40th
everybody
anniversary.
like, take my money.
Yeah, just email Dave Allen and tell him he's got to do something where he like uploads it to a cloud and then has somebody release it right after he dies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just gets released to the whole world.
It's like some Rogue One shit.
Go
where
ahead
he
and try
hits
to sue me.
Sends the transmission, hands the
If
plans
you're hearing
off.
this, you know I'm dead.
Yeah,
Here's my mix.
totally.
It just goes out on the
so-
dark web, already out on vinyl.
Should
Not
we
that I
jump
want
in?
him to die or anything. I'm
No,
sorry.
yeah, we'll wait. You know,
But I'm just saying,
no,
like,
we've waited this long. We could hang in there.
But
No rush.
it is true. Like I was when I was listening to this and just hearing those songs and hearing the disintegration behind it, it was just like, fuck, Dave. Like, why did you even have to bring that into my world as a reality?
just knowing that it exists is like,
It just it like makes me want to cry almost, just like hearing Cut or even like Wendy Time, and I'm just like, especially Wendy Time, we can get into that too, but like just that, and I'm just like, God damn.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those things. It was actually a little side note. I wasn't sure where to put it in, but this seems like a good spot where they said, just listening to all the billions of tracks and cool little things going on, whether it be the final versions of the demos of this, it's like David Allen pretty much got off light and lucky by not mixing this fucking thing. Can you imagine trying to mix this album? What a task that would have been. There's like, you listen to these things, there's like 20 little twinkling guitar parts and another little thing. I was just like, good God, when you listen to this, I wouldn't even have. He should have been like, thank God. And it was kind of the plan. Like he said to us, he was like, they were short on time, I guess. So it was never the plan for him to mix it. So I'm guessing the reasoning was that Mark Saunders was gonna be mixing it while they were still recording it and stuff too, like the songs that were done. He was getting an early jump on or something like that, because it sounded like it was never in the cards initially for him to mix it. And I think after the monstrosity of mixing Disintegration, he was secretly was a little relieved not to, but. Then when it was all said and done, you could tell he was a little like, I should have fucking mixed it.
because
even though he never said that officially. So.
There's always this thing where, they always say like, whoever records it, and mixes it is fine, but mastering should always be different. Or some people even feel like, this, that, and the other. But there was definitely a disconnect in the from the tracking to the mixing to the mastering.
Yeah,
just the sound quality. You go from the records before up to Wish, and then you go back up to Wild Mood Swings. There's such a loss in the quality of what was going on with them. But it just blows my mind that like hearing all these new things for the first time in 30 years or in the way they were supposed to be heard, 30 years ago is what's amazing now, that you're hearing all those little things that probably Dave would have had.
Accented a little
call
more.
him Dave, like we're best friends.
Yeah.
Dave,
Davey, I go David.
David would have probably paid more attention to and gotten on or gotten us to hear. And I think
when you're tracking something, you know that it should be there in the way that you were hearing that it was going to sound. So in the master, if you notice it's not there, you'll stop and make sure that it's there. So that's where and I'm saying that disconnect clearly is fucking there, because I think he had this grander vision in the tracking and just assumed someone was going to get his thought process of what it should sound like, you know? And that's where there's probably all that mishmashness, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
but it's polished up now.
And it's funny, as I guess is a good segue into the specific songs a bit that we're going to go through. You do hear parts that got left out, or they just kind of muted them when they did record them. And the demos are cool for that, because you do hear these extra parts that either got cut or they just, buried it in the fucking mix or something, so there was a lot more even to work with. I think that was going back to my point of I think Crazy didn't mix it, because if you're hearing all these parts that weren't even in it, then the actual final song has all these parts. I mean, I just remember that being a big deal. I forget how many tracks that they had at the time. It was the first one of the 40 something, they're blasting them all and filling up every track that they possibly could. Was a big deal. I remember them saying in some interviews at the time. But yeah, should we dive into the actual songs? Did you have any?
Were any of the tracks, when you heard it, did any of you turn your head like a dog hearing a whistle? Were you just what the fuck is that? Whoop?
On the demos?
Yeah, on any of the demos.
There was a few that I kind of jotted a few down where I'm like, what was that fucking part? Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them are right off the bat here too. So yeah. And that's what I wonder, even on the demos. I mean, Robert's still only remastering these, so they were finished mixes. I don't know who mixed the demos though, because if you think about it, the demos...
Yeah, that's true. Because I don't even know. Does it even say where the demos were recorded? I don't think he's
the first four were in a different studio,
right?
And then the rest were all in the manor. So.
But also, when you think about for instance, Robert said he heard Simon's demo of Cut. Did Simon record that? At a home,
I think
smaller
that was
studio near his house,
track or a boombox,
and then
kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then bring it and say, "Here, check this out."
Yeah,
where it's or did they go into a completely different studio, then bring them to the other studio? It's that's some of the shit. As a musician nerd, I want to know.
Yeah. Who mixed the demos?
Yeah.
But
they're oh, I was a drunk guy on the corner.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, maybe Robert's just pulling shit up on the thing too. He's we got to crank something out. But let's dive into the actual songs and go from there, because the first four were the ones they said were recorded the first attempt in 90. So these were pre-play out even, I think, and then they scrapped the idea. So yeah, where was the first? Or the live house studio, some kind of house studio in Cornwall. But yeah, then they scrapped them and redid them. So these were the first goes and closer to the versions on play out that they played live and stuff. But the big hand, which was cool, and this one, it fits exactly what I was saying, where there's some crazy extra tracks going on. There's a fucking acoustic guitar that's just busy as shit going on in the left ear. It's I was I don't know if Portal was just playing a whole fucking different song or what, but it's cool, and it's still, the version's great. I love that we have it. But at the same time, I'm a little whoa, it's weird to hear busy Cure guitar parts, everything's usually so a cool spaced out riff that's real precise and doing a thing, but he's just fucking noodling and stuff. So it's kind of
all right. You ready? I'm gonna blow your fucking mind right now on this one. When I fucking heard the demo version of Big Hand, I had recently been watching the HBO series document, or was it on Hulu? Where were we watching it? Documentary about the dark side of the 90s or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then I thought about it. I was oh my God. I was this version of this song sounds like it came out on fucking Sub Pop Records.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It literally, it sounds like if The Cure was a fucking indie band from Seattle on Sub Pop, that's exactly what the song would have sounded like. And I like the version. I'm like, it's kind of fucking cool.
Yeah.
It's raw fucking like, I don't know. I was like, I dig this.
Yeah. You know? As much as that was like, whoa, busy guitars and, you know, and I was like, because this is the one I was really banking on having like a cool, you know, early version of Big Hand, but it's different. And I'm glad they cut it ultimately, because I even went back and listened to the final one. I was like, is it just buried in there? And they did keep that. But yeah, there's nothing really, like Big Hand still has a lot of like space and stuff in it with that piano part and all. Is like when you listen to the final version. So I don't know what that idea was, but yeah, it is cool. But I'm glad they scrapped it ultimately, you know. But it's cool to have this other version. And there's a yell too, like a vocal thing that goes like during the chorus. He's like, it just was like, what is that? So
that was Robert asking for another beer.
Yeah, so it's just like, man, they're just like cutting loose there on this one. And so yeah, it's definitely rad. Like I said, and I do wish because there is like the instrumental version of the final one, like that they play at the end of that picture show VHS, and it's been floating around with the bootleg versions of this where it is like the final version of Big Hand, but instrumental pretty much. So I was kind of hoping there would be like a nice version of that on here too, but so I don't know if that was just the actual final version. They muted his vocals or just didn't have the vocals, or if that was a whole different take or what. But yeah, so this is pretty rad too, just to have, and a good one to listen to with headphones cranked, because then you will really hear the guitars just going fucking ape shit. And I feel like there's two of them too. Then there's like another one that kicks in. It's like ding it. They're like doing a whole other thing. So it's pretty rad. Any other Big Hand thoughts before we move on?
I loved it. I mean, it's what you kind of hope when you hear. I mean, you're hoping to hear demos, but then hear a demo of a B-side is so much cooler.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. Which kind of makes you want more. So you're like, fuck, let's get a demo of the Big Hand. Let's get a demo of everything else. And it's like, no, not that fast.
Yeah,
let's take it back.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess as they move on to the next one is they come out hitting hard with these first four, because these were the gold mine too, of like the ones where like, oh, those alternate versions, you knew that there was cut/away from the play out, and this one definitely delivers. The biggest bummer of this one was the one that they leaked as the kind of teaser on the streaming. So we had it before, so it was like, this was like kind of a gold mine on this whole package. But
I purposely not listened to it, I could be surprised when I listened to it for the first time here.
Look at you with your self-control. I was like all over that shit the second it came out.
Oh, me too. I was like,
yeah. But I don't blame you, but I wanted to be surprised.
That's awesome. So were you pretty blown away by it then?
Dude,
it's so cool, huh?
It's perfect. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, it's what you hope in demos, and you got it, which is it's so much better. Like, I could listen to this with the original, like, no problem. Like,
and I know people that one tends to be one people are a little torn on the real version, the official version of Cut, because it's the rocker or whatever. But I mean, I love Cut, and I still love this version, so it is kind of goes back and forth where I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Hey, listen, this is, it's funny because I was the same way, and I'm like, I love this song so much. How can I love the demo in a different way when it really is a whole nother version of it?
Yeah,
I fucking love cheeseburgers.
Yeah,
and they're so fucking different, where depending on where you get them from, how you make them, and what you put on them. And I'm like, it's a fucking good, it's a cheeseburger, and I like it with or without the bacon. You know, like
I guess that's what we always say about songwriting. You can strip it down, build it up. If it's a good song, it's a good song, and this totally shows
again,
it.
Like I would love to count how many fucking versions there are now out, like official versions, not like YouTube clips of someone's cell phone of a letter to release now.
Yeah,
and all of them have a awesome quality to it, whether it's a live, a demo, a remix, a not remix, a remastered, a regular fucking mastered. I don't know.
Totally.
But you can't fuck that song up.
Yeah.
It seems like you just can't fuck it up.
golden.
His vocals and cut are so fucking passionate in the demo that just like, I don't know, they kind of overpower the song for me in a good way, where I'm just like, oh, I want to play this over again, which I did.
Yeah,
I played it repeat like 4 times.
And especially knowing that he didn't write the meat of the song, I feel like when he wrote the lyrics to it, and you could tell by the demo, I think it was a very like heartfelt, like it was coming from a very emotional place. And then I feel like that emotional place took him to an even darker place. So then when it was like, we're ready to do it, it was like, boom, you know what I mean? Like the emotion turned into anger. In a sense, it's like the full now blossom of whatever it is that he was pulling from.
The fractured relationship, which was our kind of half joking, but lol. You know, we always say with those Wild Mood Swings one, there's definitely a strong like, oh yeah, like the friendship. He kind of went into, I forget what the wording is. I can't quite pull it up from the booklet, but it kind of led me back to that theory. I was like, oh, I wonder if that song was officially about lol, you know, like, or it's
just like pictures of you.
Yeah.
To see that song come from being so good to then it's what it was when it got recorded, and now to what it sounds like remastered is pretty awesome.
Totally.
It's definitely a shining moment of the whole package.
Yeah, I agree. And followed right by that is another shining one. Like you said, Letter to Elise. This one was, we're all dying because we love that unplugged version so much, you know, and like you knew that this was right from that in that era. So I was like, oh, cool. And how rad is it that it's almost the exact alt lyrics that he sings on the unplugged one. Now we finally have this on like a good quality studio recording, so I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
So I can further confuse
this
them.
Track and the next one got me more pumped than just about anything.
Yeah, this is right up there with the 4 Lost Wishes. I felt like these 4 really, you know, were worth the cost of admission there, as they say. Cool note that the solo on Letter to Elise on this version with the fuzzed out, it's like fucking sounds like Dinosaur Jr. almost or something.
Yeah,
like it's all
totally.
Like,
and 100%.
I was like, whoa, Jesus. That's pretty rad because it's such a chill song, you know, and it works, you know, and you can see.
It's like he
maybe
bought
that's what
one
he was
of those...
doing on the fucking the first one, the big hand. Demo. He was playing his inner Jay Mascis,
trying to channel that grunge rock vibe that was going.
No,
at
it was
the time,
it was like and Gav, you'll understand this. It was like he got that orange Boss Metal Zone pedal.
Yeah.
You know that like one that every kid had as their first like pedal. Like it
totally.
was like
that's what it sounds like. Because the rest of it is even got like the toy piano pulled up higher than, you know, it feels a little bit more like the unplugged version. But then out of nowhere, this fucking like 90s rock solo comes and like rocks it, and it sounds fucking great. I love it. It's like, why does this work? It sounds so good. But yeah,
see, maybe that's something else that I wish would have been on this, is because you know there's got to be board recordings of the unplugged.
Yeah,
so maybe those songs retweaked digitally.
Yeah.
Just
all the fucking demos of A Letter to Elise on one disc.
The whole
Letter
to Elise.
And I want it on a 12-inch.
Seriously, like they've got to have more than just one demo of Letter to Elise.
Yeah.
And
of course.
They probably sound just a little bit different than the other one. And this one, I felt like it had the more Disintegration vibe behind it, but not as much as I was hoping.
Yeah.
But it still felt, I don't know, it felt good listening to it.
Yeah.
Even though it felt heartbreaking, it was just like the puzzle's almost complete. You know, it's just like it's almost there. We almost got it all.
And you know what would have been amazing too, if we're gonna talk about like if we were on there, like let us know how you should do things team.
Right.
If in the fucking 12-inch they actually put a fucking envelope with a letter in it and it said like to Elise, and it was the lyrics in the letter. Right?
Handwritten.
They should hire us. That's the best way to do it.
And then, or we'll go even a step further, and the envelope is sealed with like the lipstick, like a kiss.
And it
All right,
loses
now I
its
got you.
value if you open the envelope. You just have to decide if you're going to open it or not. You know,
Yeah, exactly. But I need to know what's in it.
I don't know what to do. Do I open it?
They just feel it's just a glitter bomb.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like, ah.
It's a fart in a jar.
But
I feel like and Antonio, I know you know who Sonny is from Hate 5-6, but his big thing is trying to complete the Rage Against the Machine lyrics that came out like before, you know, they were a band, you know, the old Inside Out lyrics and everything. Like, he's a completist, and like I feel like we're almost like that with Letter to Elise, where it's like we know there's more out there. And like there's fucking like now that's confirmed that like they actually recorded this with like the alternate lyrics and with the, you know, different things going on, and it's just like I'm like there's got to be more. And like now we know that Dave Allen has a different version, and it's just like it's
like
at me.
I would like you know I wish like I'd love to see the whatever he was writing these down in. Whatever, whether it was a notebook, a fucking napkin, a blank piece of paper, whatever it was. But could you imagine some of the other lines that could have been or probably were cut out of this? Like, I'm like, it's like masterful poetry, this goddamn song. Like,
every time I'm trying to come up with lyrics for a song, I'm like, is it too soon? Could I steal one of those ones that he didn't use? I mean, it's like,
dude, I won't say shit.
Now that they're kind of documented into this, you know, for a while there, I was like, that fucking Unplugged thing. I mean, there's always so many non-Cure fans that would catch that reference, you know, but there's some good lines in there that didn't get used.
You know, Gavin, I'm going to challenge Gavin right now. You need to make me and Chaz both a mix CD that's just all different versions of A Letter to Elise.
Okay. I will find as many as I can.
Well, and like the thing is like if that version with the alternate lyric never existed, like I don't think there would be this much aura around this song. But like since that like they put that out there, it's like fuck, like we got to catch them all, and you know, little by little we're getting them. So just. We gotta sweet talk Dave Allen a little bit more.
Yeah. And again, I can't go without mentioning the fucking Sensefield cover of this song.
So
also one of the greatest fucking
put that on there too. Yeah, we'll put it.
Yeah, you have to.
All the covers.
And then I get all emotional and chills because John Bunch is no longer with us, and he was one of the fucking sweetest dudes I ever met. Somber note, but anyway.
Yeah, that's so as we move on to the fourth one of the pre-official sessions, Wendy Time is another one that was one we've been pining for quite a long time. And this one almost even more than cut because, you know, mixed feelings on the final version of Wendy Time for a lot of us.
There's no mixed feelings on that song.
I meant the whole Cure community out there. But between us, I think we're all in agreement that this version is way fucking better and they should have stuck to this style. But
mix would imply that some people actually are like, that's not bad. You hate that song, you love that song.
True.
And I fucking hate that song. And this version is so much more superior than that funky garbage that they put on there that doesn't flow with the album at all. And this fits right in there. I feel like it's the perfect, it would have been the perfect just a little bit more work on it, and I think it would have fit in there perfectly.
I feel like the only reason why they shifted it was because there's probably too many that are in this vein. If you think of like Apart and To Wish Impossible Things and Trust, you know, just like those ones that were.
Don't care.
Yeah, I don't either. I think just go with that.
Go to the toes. I don't care.
But I could see that's where they were like, well, let's try to just funk it up or something, you know, like, and same reason why they sped up Cut, it up. I bet, you know, funked it all up.
Uptown, funk you up.
But, you know, I bet that was the exact same reason why, because Cut was kind of even in the same kind of plotting, but cool as shit. Like it's like a whole cohesive album, really. I mean, it is that feel if you sprinkle all those together. But
like Wendy Time belongs on like Wild Mood Swings.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The original version.
Yeah, the final version. But and
like
he
it wouldn't stand out as like what the fuck? I want to skip you if it was on Wild Mood Swings.
Yeah,
absolutely not. Yeah. I think it would fit right in perfectly. But as I'm saying this right now, guys, there is no more original Wendy Time. There is only now Wendy Time 1990 demo.
Yeah, the 0.5 version.
It has been permanently replaced on my my Wish playlist.
There you go.
So, adios.
You're not alone there. Yeah, thank God for this version. Finally, something we've been wanting a long time. I still feel like I need to go back through all my just files. I felt like I had a bootleg version that was close to a studio, like that wasn't this one. It was slightly different too. So I'll have to try to see if I can find that still. But it was like not the best quality, but it was like a studio recording. You could tell. So I was kind of surprised that this wasn't quite that one. I was like, oh yeah, I feel like it, or maybe they just tweaked it and cleaned it up enough where it didn't feel like it was the same. But I'll get back to y'all on that one.
my hand was shaking before I hit play.
Yeah,
because I was really scared it was just going to be like another funk version of it, or like something more psychedelic, and I was just like,
and it sounded like Flea was playing bass.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh my God, please.
The original version had saxophone in it too. I was like, oh my God.
I was like, please be the slower version, and like it was, and it got played a couple times.
Yeah,
and I really took it in, and it's I have a better appreciation for the original one, but it's not going to be played anymore.
Yeah.
The
whole "it doesn't touch me" part is so much cooler on the slow one. You know, it just is really kind of indifferent. You know, like I love it. So good. And I guess as we move out of and I guess at some point, I think it's in the booklet or somewhere, he said that those were kind of the idea of being like an EP almost, like those 4 were going to be like a separate thing at one point for and that would have been kind of cool, really, because that all did fit in that same mood, you know, if you think of those 4, if they'd really kind of just, and then that would have freed up a lot of avenues more for Wish. Even they could have gone, who the fuck, I mean, just looking at the whole body of all this shit, it could have gone 20 different ways, but at the same time,
but then like Halo would have made the full record probably.
Exactly. All those this Twilight Garden and stuff are just like, oh yeah, I mean, there's just so much room for stuff on here.
That's a good fucking EP.
Yeah,
those 4 songs.
Solid,
that's a real good fucking EP right there.
Totally. So I would have been very pumped for that as a kid, for sure. Then we start getting into more actual instrumental demos, and not a lot to say about a lot of these. They just kind of sound like rough versions of, you know, like what it would become, no vocals. The first one being this Twilight Garden, which is just, you know, an amazing song in itself. The only real note I had for that was that they kind of, in this demo, you get the kind of Asian feel to it a bit more, where they really up the little ding ding ding. It feels a little more like the end of Animal Chin, you know, when they're like, that summer we learned a lot about, you know, skateboarding.
I was gonna say like kind of like in 90s, like kind of like, or not 90s, like an 80s kind of, you know, background music to like
but I mean,
kung fu movie or something.
Which is in there on the final version, but it's just all mixed in a bit better, where you don't really, the guitar parts and the kind of swelling. Anyway, then we go into Scared As You. You know, I love that B-side, kind of like a few of the other ones a little bit more, but good. This one feels very similar, though, I felt, to the final version. I didn't really feel like it was blown away with anything different.
Not really.
I felt like it's the too late of that album.
I
always liked that song, and I always kind of felt it like kind of like the B-side to that. Like
I would say Halo would be my too late of this one, just because it's both of
I
those.
just meant sound wise, not like quality. Like Halo is like one of probably the best. Halo and Too Late are like the 2 best B-sides.
They could have been singles, both of those.
I just like I meant like tone or sound wise. Some kind of poppy kind of sound to it, and I love this instrumental. So, like I said, I listened to the whole CD like a couple times. Just it's perfect.
Yeah.
For doing shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. To the point too
Like-
where I was like wanting to sit down and take notes for each one, but I would just put it on and just kind of get lost in the whatever as I was cleaning the house or cooking. You know, it's just like, oh shit, like 4 songs have gone by. I haven't jotted anything down. You know, but
Not only that, but when you think about like what other music was coming out in like 92-ish and stuff, like Halo could have been a gigantic fucking radio single.
yeah, that's
Like it really could have been. Every motherfucker's wedding song in 1993 would have been Halo.
yeah. I think
You know, like
Or hello, as they have on
hello.
yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, it's odd. You would think that I mean, it was like a little thin on the lyrics, but that could have like made it a bigger mainstream hit maybe because it wasn't weird or any, you know what I mean? Like the whole like "you're my everything" isn't the deepest line by any means, but at the same time, as far as pop radio shit, yeah, I mean, neither's Friday I'm in Love.
Let's look at the lyrics of Mr. Jones. And
yeah, exactly.
And that Cannon Crows record was the first record to like sell that fast since like I think Nevermind. Like it was like something, you know.
So yeah, I mean, that definitely could have.
Yeah, we are talking about the early 90s here.
Yeah,
there was a lot of shit being thrown at the fucking walls musically.
A lot of
the early 90s.
Way too much of it stuck.
Yeah, seriously.
Track 7 is "To Wish Impossible Things," which is also another very lovely instrumental demo. Very similar. Doesn't have the strings on in this one, which is kind of sucks because the strings are so good, but it's kind of neat to hear it without it too. So this is kind of nice for that. But
I would love to hear a fucking straight piano version of that song with just Robert Smith and a piano.
Oh yeah,
I think I would I would sob uncontrollably.
Yeah.
I think he could sell out a stadium tour with just him and a piano.
100%.
Just like
without a doubt.
Crooner Smith just doing it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But yeah, absolutely. I would love to hear that. But this is without the lyrics in it, without the vocals and everything. It's just it has a different layer to it that I absolutely love.
Yeah. It still hits like so beautiful.
Absolutely. But the strings are missing. But other than that, I mean, it's still a heavy. It's fucking heavy, like with no lyrics. It's fucking heavy, and I love it. Like it's so good. It's like it's a warm, depressing blanket.
Totally, yeah. And pairs wonderfully right off the next one, "Apart," which is separated on the album from it. They keep them away from each other because it just gets too dangerous putting these two back to back. But
nobody can handle that shit.
Yeah, because one would be one wrist being cut and the other another wrist.
Just move on to the next one. So this one again feels pretty similar to the original, but just lovely. I made a note that I would have just loved this bonus disc as a kid. Like when I first wanted to get into music, I had like a little shitty karaoke machine, so I would just sing over any like the singles that had the instrumental versions, and I was like, oh, how cool are these? They were like Cure songs you could sing over and stuff,
That'd be cool.
Could just be
I mean that bass line is just gold. Oh
I could listen, like it's so rad listening to this without vocals just to hear the bass line more. And just like melt into that. It's so good. Oh.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I'm so glad we have these now.
I think I need to eat a gummy and just put that song on repeat on my headphones.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, it is.
You just start at Twilight Garden and just go.
Yeah. Yeah,
then get Frogfish.
Yeah, that kind of snaps you out of it at the end. Like, the walls are bleeding. But we're not there yet. We got a few mellow ones still. We got track 9. Now we get into the first non song that we know. Like this is just what the fuck is T7. The T7 model. I traded one of those in, right? The T stands for Teddy's demo, of course. Teddy being Perry. I jotted down that this felt very Kiss Me feeling, especially the drums almost had like a snake pit feel or something. But yeah, it could have been a real song, I think, with some more love. And all these, really, I didn't hear, Frogfish maybe, but a few that were like, just like, obviously a dud. I mean, all these, if you kind of sprinkled an official Cure or Robert vocal line over it, it really could have made or break a lot of these. This one might have felt a little too like apart and To Wish Impossible Things, Or
I was gonna say it's like a sped up To Wish Impossible Things.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it kind of falls with me. But it's me. I love it.
Yeah.
I think it fits perfectly on the album. But
so yeah, just kind of that cool mid-tempo, flowing feel.
Let that gummy take hold.
Yeah. I love like that drum that has like a very like kind of Kiss Me vibe, It's like
yeah.
Yeah.
You just like sit here and you just like think of the lyrics that he might write for it and like how it might go and flow, and you're just like, oh god damn it. Why do I do this to myself?
And the next one continues it. Now is the time. Instrumental demo. This one I felt like has a very unique feel. It's very bass driven. Again, let's pull that one up so people can remember, because a lot of these are kind of hard to. We all recognize them, but you might need to hear it for a sec. Let's see. That little riff, I felt like he could have pulled a vocal melody over that pretty cool for the chorus.
This is like the one I didn't think that fit as well as some of the other ones, but it's still pretty damn good.
Yeah, I kind of jumped in the middle of it there. It starts out really cool with that kind of driving bass line that builds it up good.
I could hear this on Wild Mood Swings also. So.
Yeah, it is a bit surprising they didn't just go back and remake some of these up, in like later years, and you're just like clearly looking for ideas or something, they could have. All right, after that one, we got Miss Van Gogh, which was another one of the last few that got leaked before it all came out on the streaming. We got a little sneak peek at this one. And I remember this one from the Music for Dreams bootleg demos. So this one, just a little bouncier, upbeat, a little pluckier.
Yeah, great bass. Just, goddamn.
And on a lot of these, actually, going with the, we picked up on that way back when, saying that this kind of parallels like a more condensed Kiss Me,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he actually said that in the book somewhere, that they use Kiss Me more as a reference than Disintegration, and getting back to that idea of, just having all these different styles and you hear it kind of in those little plucky keyboard parts that feels a little bit more Kiss Me, than like something you would hear.
That sounds so fucking good right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been sitting on it for a little while, and I'm not done yet, but I've been adding music and lyrics to that song.
To this one? Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it out on Bandcamp.
Nice. Awesome. Cool.
So I assume that you're a fan of that song.
Yes.
It's so fucking good, isn't it?
It's really fucking good. It's so fucking catchy. I would love to hear what he was going to do to it. That's why I was like, you know what? I'm going to take it and just kind of add some other stuff to it and come up with like almost kind of like what I could hear him singing in it and over it.
Yeah, it's fun.
And it's it's a little harder because it's definitely a raw concept, because it's just looping the two parts. There's no like bridge to it. It's a pure demo at its, at the pure version of demo, but that's one that if there's any of these like released like demo-y, like not finished things, that is the one that got away. I feel like that might have been it.
You think it's that one? Yeah.
It could be such a fucking banger.
Yeah, I kind of alternate every time I listen to these. Like some of these feel so close, and then I'm like, I can see why they kind of just backed off or just ran out of time or something, But all these are, definitely
that one's a damn shame. That one's Yeah, that's when they should bring
Especially
up from
when
the dead
they,
and still
I feel
work
like,
on.
yeah, like the Cure could probably do a lot of the mid-tempo, kind of nice sounding ones sitting on their head, you know? But like when they have kind of like a cool poppy upbeat one that didn't catch, it's kind of like a shame because it's like, oh yeah, that could have been like a really fucking cool song. We get our first taste of the wah-wah pedal on this next one. T6, so I guess this is another Perry one.
Yeah.
This one definitely works better than the later Funkified. We got the Wachika Wachika.
At times, I hear some of the heavier stuff off of "Kiss Me" on this one as the song progresses more, but it's definitely I can't stand the fucking wah wah shit going on.
Yeah, and a lot of wah wah stuff, like like when you think of like, even if you heard like the Kiss without the vocals and stuff, you would be like, what the fuck is this exactly? But like, say, if you imagine the idea of a cool vocal melody of Robert coming in and saying something cool, it could have worked. But yeah, just listening to it on the end, it is a little too like,
it's like, a porno soundtrack.
So,
I've heard this song before.
That's right.
A number of times.
Yeah, I mean,
why am I erect right now? What is going on?
Usually when I'm hearing this song, it's through black and white fuzz in a motel television.
And again, very odd for this time frame of like early 90s, you know, he's all getting into shoegaze stuff, grunge is taking off, you know, like it's like, what? Okay, this is probably not the time to put your wah-wah tune out, you know, but who knows? But then they put it in Wendy time, so who knows? But
yeah, but you know what? He was probably like, you know, and he's like, he was feeling his Jimi Hendrix.
He
was like, I'm gonna channel my inner Jimmy, you know.
Yeah, and I feel like all these kind of shows that Pearl was like, you know, really just delivering on a lot of these or bringing that element in. Yeah. I think that's a lot of what. You know, like, I don't know if that's like a sign of, you know, why this was like time fading in the Cure, you know, because, you know, Pearl wanted to do more of this shit and it was starting to be like, all right, why don't you go hang out with Plant and Page for a while and get it out of your system? Or if, you know, they were all kind of going this way. It's tough with the Cure too. It could have been Robert even playing that, who knows, you know, but it definitely seems to fit the bill with Pearl a lot more, you know. Yeah. Up next we got Play, so we're kind of back to familiar ones. Play, pretty similar to the B-side that we all know. I always like the drums a lot on this one. Even just kind
still phenomenal.
Yeah,
I still love it. It's still too close to some other stuff they already had on the album, so I kind of understand why it got scrapped, but it's still a great song.
Yeah, totally. Any other, you know, on Wild Mood Swings that could have been a standout one too, you know, something like that, you know, but it's like, yeah, I could see why that would be a B-side. Foolish Arrangement is next, and I know a lot of people really like this one a lot, but I always felt like of all the official Cure stuff, this was my least favorite official track. I was never too big on the B-side Foolish Arrangement. It's just kind of, I don't know, it's cool, but just never really blew me away compared to the other ones, I guess. But this one feels, about the same. I felt. You guys
mellower.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's okay.
It's got more of an acoustic feel to it than,
I guess it's cool
than the original version, of course. But it's I don't know. It's poppy. It's driving. Still like it. But yeah, and
in this whole body of everything, it's like, even some of these probably could have lasted a little longer than that one, I thought. But then we got Halo's instrumental demo. This was definitely a even though this one still kind of fits the it's weird, it says Halo on this when I pulled it over. Did you say that earlier? It's called,
in
the back of the CD though, I think it's just called Halo, right?
I don't know. It says Halo on everything I have.
Weird. On the CD, on the back,
it says
track 15.
It says what?
Halo.
It does say Halo on the CD.
Yeah, on the digital version, it says Halo.
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 That's a massive misstep. Wait, what are you're looking at it on what, Apple?
This is actually what I'm playing it off of is my ripped CD that I pulled into it though. So
my digital.
Yeah, that's what I'm playing it off of too.
Yeah.
Oh
so
really?
It's encrypted as
because
Halo.
my Spotify says Halo.
Yeah, and
my
I felt
CD
like
says
Apple
Halo.
said Halo too.
That's weird.
Yeah.
So it's like when
that was fucking weird when I brought it up
Apple
on my phone that I couldn't find it.
Yeah, you were saying that earlier, and I was just like letting you run with it. I was like, oh, what the hell? He's talking about Halo.
The metadata on the CD is incorrect.
What is?
The metadata that they imprint into the CD so that when you upload it, the information of the songs and shit is on it. Was
just
put onto it incorrectly.
It's not like they had 30 years to
get it right.
To get it right,
comb through this shit.
Yeah, you guys remember that?
You had one job, metadata guy. You had one fucking
when you would rip CDs back in the old days and you had to like type them all in and shit. Remember? The very early like CDR days and stuff. And I'd always have these fucked up spelling ones because I was all drunk typing them.
And then you'd have to find the artwork sometimes online, and then you get like a really shitty thumbnail. And
pixelated version of it.
Oh, weird.
Kids, you don't remember this stuff.
And then on the next one, I have Rust instead of Trust. Do you have that?
I have Rust.
Rust. They left the T off of Trust.
What the fuck is going on here?
So it's like the first letter just wasn't hitting on some of these.
Dude had like a sticky keyboard or something. He spilled like margarita on his keyboard.
I don't think it was that.
Keep it PG. Let's go back to Halo though. I forgot to even talk about it. I love it. It isn't drastically different. I wish they, like you're saying, had like a rough vocal or something on there, but I like that it really accents the way the two parts play off each other, like the bass line and the guitar and stuff. Just really cool. I know.
I was like trying to like sing over it because I was like, well, I want to hear what the like lyrics, like the melody sounds like on this version. I definitely wish it had scratch vocals for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, even without, this was definitely a highlight where I felt like this is so cool. I'm glad to hear just any other version of Halo and have it get a little more life.
Do you think that they have like a version with vocals on it that they just chose not to put on and put the instrumental on instead?
I think so. There was like a rough vocal track and he probably muted it. Because he was probably just saying something he thought was stupid or it was just really off. A lot of times when you're writing, I don't know how you do it, Antonio, where if you just do like the mumble track thing where you're just probably like,
I sometimes just say whatever fucking words or just repeat certain lines. But then again, like this could also be another one that was brought to the table already demoed and Robert wrote to it, but had his like little notes and then went in with them, came up with the other version, and there may not have been any on it.
Yeah,
because I've had in prior bands that I was in, like guitar players bring me like almost full songs, but obviously it was with like digital drums and stuff, and it's like I didn't record anything to those. We just use it as the basis to finish writing it.
Right. Yeah, like he took this demo that we have on this now, like that's what he took to his room and whatever, wrote the lyrics, then they came back, re-recorded the whole thing, and that's
right. And in doing so, we're like, well, let's add this and maybe change that to this, and then
yeah, makes sense. But it's hard to imagine all of them would be like that. So you do kind of wonder if he's just sparing everybody of him moaning over it, which like I said, it definitely makes for a better flowing album.
Just over and over.
But it is.
Nobody wants to be spared of you though. That's
we want to hear all that shit. Disc 4. Disc 7. Disc 7. There he goes again. And same with Trust, even. I felt like this was just another huge, like, so glad that this exists. It's in there, even though not drastically different. I felt it kind of accented the even though it has the awesome piano part and stuff in there. Once it gets going, you kind of hear the acoustic guitars and stuff a lot more than you do on the final version. And you realize that there's, like, cool guitar stuff going on in it, too. And it isn't all just the piano stealing the show in this song, There's, like... I'll try to pull up a part like just later on, and it's like you kind of just hear those like really big acoustic guitars going a bit more than you do on the final mix, but all super subtle. But yeah, just a lovely tune.
And another good one just to sit and cry to.
Yeah. So, now we're back to one that didn't survive, the Abe Tababa, which is like gibberish letters, but in the booklet he explains it's a beautiful end to a beautiful week. But yeah, it's a cool one. This one has that bass groove. This one's got that cool bass groove. Let's pull that one up.
Yeah. So fucking good.
Yeah, this one gets stuck in your head big time. I really remembered this from the old bootleg ones even, you know. So this had to have been a Simon, like, I got this. Pretty rad.
Yeah, that bass line's just so fucking good.
It's almost just like too good is like a bass line.
That's so good.
Yeah. Pretty rad. A beautiful end to a beautiful week. Just feeling good. It is just odd, like the different moods of how dark this album can get and could have gotten, and then like the sunny side of it too. But then in the middle is just like all of it just does have this cool dreamy feel to it, you know, like especially if you sprinkle in like Lost Wishes and stuff, where it is very like hypnotic and they really did just really nail that overall vibe, you know, which is, you know, a lot, I think, of David Allen's credit too, just capturing those, because he's clearly proven that he's great at that, you know, like capturing the atmosphere and make it cohesive, even if the songs are completely different. You know, you got funky songs and some super depressing song and a pop song, but they all still feel like they fit on an album together. Yeah. It's not easy to do. Then we got T8, another
the attack of the acoustic guitar on this one.
Yeah, this was a weird one where I just felt like a lot of them have like kind of structurally feels of other Cure songs, but this one just could be a totally different band almost, you know. But it's just like,
I dug it. I just didn't think it fit on this album.
Yeah, this one just doesn't really go anywhere, and it's like, aside from the cool bass line, but it's like
definitely doesn't fit the album, but doesn't mean it wouldn't have been a good.
Feels a little rambly. Huh? Then we got Heart Attack up next. This one is more rockin'. This one a little too rockin', maybe. Yeah.
You said too rockin' for you?
A little too rockin' for me. Nah, a little too rockin' to fit on Wish. I mean, like what?
Is it?
I don't know. Where it just feels like almost a little too Never Enough, maybe, or something, you know, where it's just like...
What about, it's kind of like it could have almost like an open feel to it.
Has a what?
Like an open feel almost to it.
Yeah.
It's
kind of driving rock like that.
Yeah, still a little wild mood swingsy.
Yeah, maybe it's the funky guitar in there too. It feels a little too like classic rock, I guess is what I'm saying, more by like rocking, you know. It just feels a little like...
Simon's fucking loving it though.
He's always like the common thread. Like if he took that out, then it like doesn't sound like anything like right now. Heart Attack. Here comes Pearl on the wah-wah again, trying to...
Yeah, he loves
that fucking wah-wah. Anyway, so yeah,
that would be
cool.
Like a good like jam song for them to like to do during like sound check or something.
Yeah, as most musicians know, there's some songs that are just fun to play, but don't necessarily mean it's a good song. Like, everyone just loves playing it, you know, but it doesn't mean anyone really wants to listen to it. It's a lot more fun to play than to listen to, I guess is the phrase you would say. Swing Change is the next two as we wind down this disc. This is like the Cure reggae song.
Yeah.
Yo, I love this song.
It is. It's cool.
Smoke another Fatima.
There's a part in it where you hear like almost like the crow sound effect behind it. Right there.
Yeah, right there. That little like wooden pipe thing that Robert plays sometimes.
Yeah, this definitely could feel like on the top or Wild Mood Swings for sure, because it gets into more of that, like, if he just came up with some really kind of kooky vocal part that fit over it, you could get...
Yeah. I think it would fit perfectly on Wild Mood Swings and actually probably improve the album a little bit.
Yeah. It's funny, though, because, for how... like drastic Wild Mood Swing seems coming off of this, even though there was a pretty big gap in between them. There are little traces of that,
seeing where it was going.
Yeah, which is cool, because if you look at just the actual album of Wish, there doesn't seem to be any, like foreshadowing, but other than maybe like doing the Unstuck or something, but it's like
right. But some of these demos definitely lead to
you see the kookiness kind of coming through. Like maybe we should.
It definitely ties them a lot together a lot better. Than we knew before. So.
He's like, maybe we should do a sax song. It's 1992, and everybody loves the saxophone.
All the kids are doing it.
Possibly the worst thing ever. This is...
I rebuke this.
We need to put them on trial again for this. We should have brought this up. This was always the one that when we had like the bootleg Music for Dreams and shit, I'm like, no way is that a Cure demo. Somebody just threw that in as a joke, Like I thought it was like, there's no way that's a part where, who the fuck is even playing the sax? Like, cause like, Pearl kind of can, but it wasn't like busting a sax solo out on anything. It had to have been some like specific sax player. They're just like, I'll fucking play some sax. Let's do it. Just
not only that, but this is like the 21st track on that CD. Could have left it at
totally.
20.
Cut it out.
Totally could have buried this one in the sand somewhere, and nobody would have known. And it is like, I think I made that joke with the Music for Dreams, but it totally feels like the fucking end of Saturday Night Live or something, like they're all like standing up there.
They're just waving to the crowd and everything, bowing.
Yeah, the Cure. Robert Smith. Brace. Siren Gallop.
Yeah. Good night. So that ends Frogfish, and unfortunately confirms it in Cure canon that it's real. So, but I guess if the worst thing you've ever recorded is the 21st song on a deluxe edition, that's not too bad. So,
but it's just frustrating that they could just cut that and nobody had to know that it existed and put something better on there.
Yeah, I know, right? All these things that were like tape, would have totally just nice to squeeze that on instead.
Yeah.
Even an alt version of tape if they didn't want to go full, But
like even if they want to do like Wendy Time no vocals. Or like Letter Release no vocals.
Big
or
Hand,
something like that. It's like, fine, fuck it, do it.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear this frog stomp thing.
Frogfish. So we still got disc 3, so we'll plow through these pretty fast for you guys too. I guess kicking it off is the whole point for all this, more or less too, is Lost Wishes, and like we said at the top, awesome to have these in great quality that we can play over and over. Kickoff track, formerly Old Scotland, Ewa sound. They're beautiful.
They are.
Like we said, this first one I got Disintegration vibes. Like we said, some of them felt a little more Kiss Me, some of them lean in another way, some are strictly, Wish. But this one definitely has some Disintegration vibes. Kind of gets going with the ocean sounds and stuff too, so that's pretty beautiful. So, Cloudberry. This one's inspired by the Arctic liqueur, which is a cloudberry drink. Have you ever had that, Antonio, by any chance?
I have
Blue,
not.
maybe. Yeah, I need to
I don't know.
track it down. Have a Cloudberry night or something. But yeah, apparently they're all drinking it while recording this. Apparently, so. But I like this one. Has like some of those classic kind of big hand little dreamy riffs. You know, like just kind of classic. It almost starts to tiptoe into like apart territory and stuff. A few of those other ones where they, you could see why they maybe had to choose one over the other. But
whoa, wait a minute. When I Google this Cloudberry drink, it says that it's a drink at Chick-fil-A.
At Chick-fil-A?
I think that's a new drink that just came out.
I know. I'm like, that's definitely not the.
I love Chick-fil-A. Is it blue by any chance?
No, it is not. It's almost looks like a pink lemonade.
Okay.
It's called Cloudberry Sunjoy.
Ugh. Well, somebody at Chick-fil-A is clearly a Cure fan. Just trying to work
seriously.
it in.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah. So, Off to Sleep is the next one. This one's pretty rad too. I love this one. This one I thought felt very Kiss Me with that plucky kind of keyboard part too. This was another Simon demo apparently. But this one I felt like has that little riff later too. So yeah. But yeah, can't just play every song for everybody. Let's see. Three Sisters is the next one. That's the problem with these or any kind of video commentary. You just end up sitting there listening to it or watching it. I'm supposed to be saying shit, right? Three Sisters. This was a Perry one too. This one I thought had like a Japanese dream kind of vibe to it almost. It was kind of. But yeah, all these forever. It kind of always bothered me that I felt that they were so close to like final songs that they should have, if they just had more time. But now I've gotten so used to like listening to them as instrumentals that I think they work great like that and actually make me wish the Cure had done more instrumental stuff or still does more, just put out more instrumental shit at this point, or movie scores or something like that. They definitely have it in them, Why
not?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A Wendy Band, which made me worry at first that we got Wendy Time Part 2 coming up here, but not so much. This is very just like
so slow. I love this song.
Yeah, this one's cool.
It's got like this almost Nirvana-esque
totally
kind of bass line to it, and it's just like
Nirvana, incesticide Nirvana.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, like give me more of this.
Yeah, has a cool little like melodica harmonium kind of riff thing going with that one. It feels a little more like early, even Joy Division too, or New Order, kind of like where they're using this little.
But had this song been released before? Have you heard this one before?
I don't think so. Yeah,
I haven't heard either.
I haven't listened back to the old shitty bootlegs in a while. I've been meaning to do that, but yeah, I don't think so because it seems like that would have. There were a few like that. I remember. I'm like, oh, this is like dark and cool. Like it could have.
Yeah, but it just keeps building up and building up and building up.
Yeah,
this is another one that could have been something. I feel like really.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like this could be in the back of a movie, like you could see it in like some kind of scene.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and feels a little more Disintegration too. Or I could see this almost feeling like a Disintegration B-side kind of deal or something.
Yeah, very Disintegration.
I think that might be my favorite song on this disc.
Yeah, that one's cool shit. Then we get a few more that we recognize, or I guess that was the last of the unknowns. Coming up next, we have Edge of the Deep Green Sea, the Parched Chekhov mix. And nothing too noticeably different other than they still got the ding 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 piano going through it, but the lead guitar part isn't in there. The lead, it comes in later as like kind of a jaunty piano playing it, and I think is very similar. But
yeah, it makes it worse.
Yeah, doesn't distract from the. You got two jaunty piano parts in there, so I wasn't too blown away by this. It was kind of cool just to hear another version in some form, but there's some weird pitch shifting harmonies going on where he's going, or you can tell they're messing with like the background vocals a bit. So that's kind of neat, but
I did like what the piano was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't. There's the other piano that's just playing like kind of the same note over and over again.
Yeah,
it just kind of makes that more dominant in the song.
Yeah.
When you take the guitar away, but I would have just loved to hear a piano version of the guitar.
Yeah,
without that other instrument next to it.
Like strip it down more then or something would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I was going to save it for the end, but another Patreon comment question. This one was funny, and we can address this one at this point. This is from Matt, and says, I have a question. It's more of a hypothetical for you guys. It's 1991, and you're an intern for Fiction Records. You're tasked with assisting David Allen in the control room for one of Wish sessions. While everyone is out for lunch, you see all the multi-tracks for From the Edge of the Deep Green Sea on the board. You have the ability to delete the piano tink, 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 tink forever and alter Cure history. If you do this, you will be fired and never be able to work in the music industry again. But do you do it anyway? Choose your fate.
It's like the world doesn't know what you're saving it from. So like you don't it's like you it's like it's a thankless sword you're gonna fall on.
I would say no because of that kind of reasoning. Where clearly, because it's on this fucking demo, even Robert was hell bent on that being in there. So after they catch
they just would have re-recorded.
He would have re-recorded it.
Yeah,
somebody they would have not noticed it. It was gone.
I think what I would have done is just been like lowered it in the mix.
Yeah, just keep pushing it down.
If I could lower it and keep my job. I would do that. Deleting it, no, because it would still ended up on there. But like, you could lower it because like even with this new mix, it's definitely not as dominant as before.
This one in particular,
and
it definitely
it sounds just how it should.
Yeah,
if you see them live, that doesn't dominate the overall sound, but on the original recording, it does.
Yes.
So, but yes, I would take a bullet for all of us.
In theory, I think we'd all be like, let's do it.
You're welcome, everyone.
How noble of you, Chaz. Awesome. Let's move on to the last couple here. We got Open, the Fix mix that doesn't seem to really fix anything.
No.
Oddly, it wasn't on my Apple streaming, but that might be my weird thing. It just disappeared on my Apple streaming. But yeah, it didn't seem drastically noticeable. Anything different? A few little tweaks of extra delay or echo on a voice or something, but nothing. Anything that stood out to you guys on that one?
No, not really.
No.
All right, let's move on. Then we finally got our remixes at least. So this was cool that these are on there, even though they take up a good chunk of space. The higher mix is one that people have been, for as long as we've been doing this podcast, people have just casually been bringing up how much they love this remix in particular. Arguably better parts of it that aren't in the actual song or core. I do like it a lot. I don't know, any remixes. I'm just not huge on remixes, so it's kind of like I don't know if I need a 7-minute version of High ever, other than if I was like on a dance floor or like hearing it at a restaurant or something. But otherwise, I'm totally fine with the normal version. I don't. But
I mean, I do love some of the extra added stuff to this.
Yeah,
one. I don't need it to be 7 minutes long, but if it was the same length and you gave me some of those other parts, I think it definitely adds.
Yeah,
there's some enhancements to the song.
And just like all these, when they break them down and stuff, it's cool just to hear them when they kind of showcase. It almost feels like those like rap songs or something where every guy gets his own little part of the rap. So it's like when they break down the Cure song, it's like, oh, let's just hear the bass line for a minute. Oh, cool. Let's just hear the keyboard part. So it's kind of like it's just showing off that there's a billion cool parts in the song. But this higher one
felt like I was in a Nintendo game at some points.
Yeah,
with it, which I loved.
With High,
like, yeah,
totally. And doing the Unstuck, the extended 12-inch mix. This was supposed to be the 4th single that never officially happened, but so I guess this was on deck in case they wanted to do that. Kind of has a lot of effects on the vocals on the intro, which is surprisingly quiet. Then it brings it into the full, longer version of the song. Once again, I don't know if I even need a almost 6-minute version of this song. It's fine the way it is.
The way it is just it's great the way it is. Just leave it alone. That's a swing and a miss.
Yeah, but Friday I'm in Love, Strange Love mix. I actually really like this remix too. As far as remixes go, it is really good. But
I think it's good. But what's funny is I feel like it's the version of the song that would appear in the beginning of a Drew Barrymore like romantic comedy.
It definitely plays up the giddy love factor for sure. It's just like you get the full sappiness all at once with this one. But and the harmonies are all over the place. They definitely stand out a lot more and stuff. So.
Yeah, and they had like a cool effect to his vocal, like at the end, like there's like just cool reverby, echoey kind of thing going on. It gives it a vibe.
There's definitely, as far as all those go, I mean, all the ones on Mixed Up and shit, I have pretty much the same arguments for and against, so it's definitely is good, if not better than a lot of those, so.
Yeah.
And especially the next one, Letter to Elise, definitely is cool. Like we said, any version of Letter to Elise is pretty golden, I think, but this one I thought the beat was pretty rad, it does have like kind of a different feel.
Yeah, the opening drum beat is going on.
Yeah, there's definitely some... where it's like different enough to, I'm like, okay, this felt kind of, it still feels a little like 90s remix for sure, but it is, so I can't really blame them for that, but it's cool. I'm glad it's officially on something other than the old CD singles, so. And then it closes out with the one and only live version, which is End. So cool live version. Not sure
why,
but at the same time, 8 minutes.
I guess they wanted to end it with End, and they
I guess you had to
end version. I guess
you don't have a like I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, cool. So like that's 8 minutes. You could have put like 2 other songs on there, maybe, but if you got,
especially when I saw that it was live, I had this weird notion. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll press play on End, and they're really like, just kidding, and it's one of the new tracks.
Ooh. Make no sense, but would have been rad.
Did you hit rewind when you hit play?
Yeah. So, still got to play all these backwards. There's something in there for us. I know we got to figure something out. But
it's like Simon's dead.
Yes.
Betrayal.
Tired of betrayal. It's like, whoa, shit.
All the letters of the first, they all just spell out betrayal going down like the first letter of each song.
He is still pissed. So that wraps up the final disc as we enter the conclusion of this wonderful disc of collection. Did have one last Patreon comment that kind of fits as a finale type thing. This was from Danny. And he says, even though Wish is not in my top 3 favorite Cure albums, I will have to give it the number 4 slot, as it was really my first introduction to the Cure and my first time seeing them when they toured it. So for that, it's dear to my heart. Always loved the sounds, textures, and layers to this album. My thoughts have always been, dare I say, replace 2 songs and have them as B-sides, even though one is a great song, and the other one is perhaps the most beautiful song they've ever done, but I do feel like they would be better as B-sides. The
Mm-hmm.
great song that I'm talking about is Wendy Time, and the beautiful song is To Wish Impossible Things. I've always thought to replace them. I love this song because the guitar work, and that's the big hand, and that would replace Wendy Time. And oh my, what a beautiful song this Twilight Garden is, and that would replace Wish Impossible Things. Leaving the track order as Open, High, Apart, From the Edge of the Deep Green Sea, The Big Hand, Doing the Unstuck, Friday I'm in Love, Trust, Letter to Elise, Cut, This Twilight Garden, and End.
Mm-hmm.
I have over the years had this setup of Wish on my Apple Music, and it works for me. I've loved the Wish reissue, and although Lost Wishes has been on YouTube for years, hearing the new sound quality is great. Cloudberry is my favorite instrumental. What a pretty piece of music. So this kind of goes back to our revisionist playlist history of all this. And so he's saying he would swap out Wendy Time, of course,
Obviously.
for the big hand, which is kind of a good fair swap. And I think a lot of people have been very happy with that. And when I
Would
think
say Halo, but okay.
yeah,
Close.
And then this one's a little more controversial. He said he'd swap out this To Wish Impossible Things with this Twilight Garden, which I get what he's saying because they're kind of the same feel.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to lose to Wish Impossible Things. You know, it's like,
You can't take out two Wish Impossible Things on the album Wish.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a little tough. He said it would make a great B-side, which I guess if you're going for the feel of them, I could see that, you know? But, and I don't know. I guess if you had to swap it all together, like I would love just having this Twilight Garden in there somehow, but I don't know. I mean, I'd swap maybe Cut even as much as I love it, you know? I don't know if it really needs a rock song at the end of the album, you know? But,
yeah, true.
So, but it would be kind of more in the same vein. You'd have like this Twilight Garden into Wish Impossible Things, which I feel like about as dreamy as you can get, you know, as a finale, but I'd be all for it. So yeah, cool. I see that he's what he's going for.
So if this album didn't have Wendy Time on it, Chaz, would it be higher in your ranking of Cure records?
Yes. I mean, it's always been in the top 5 for me.
Yeah.
I think just because you still have Friday I'm in Love, because that kind of breaks up the album too, just about as much as I think Wendy Time does, like sound wise. So, but I don't know. It's always going to be up there.
I also kind of loved what he said in the little booklet about when he started singing Friday I'm in Love, and like everybody's just mood kind of changed in a room, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if I'm going to go with the album that kind of flows like Disintegration,
cohesive.
If I'm going from that to that, because I think the album does almost 80%, I guess now with those two songs, but like if you switch out the new Wendy Time with the old Wendy Time, the album I believe gets so much better. And then I mean, you could even brought him in love with even the new with like a demo or something, and I'd be fine with that. So, or instrumental.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And we even had talked in the past, you know, if you really get into the revisionist thing of how Friday I'm in Love as a standalone single would have been great, you know?
Oh yeah,
because then
that
absolutely just frees up, especially if you did like Doing the Unstuck and Friday I'm in Love as like this ultimate pop single, you know, like that would have freed up so much like atmospheric gloom, you know. You could get real moody with the whole album and keep that vibe for sure. But you know, I mean, it sold a fucking ton and did great for the band, so really we have no real room to revise anything on this album, you know. It's just like but they did everything.
I think
great.
as fans now, with everything that's remastered, I don't think that we don't have to listen to Wish, the original Wish, ever again. Not that if you don't want to, but I mean, I think this is far more superior. And now we have the ability as fans to make our own Wish album of like what we believe it would be. And I think you could make one that's close to Disintegration as quality, especially with everything that you have at your disposal now. with everything that's released. So which is exactly what I'm gonna do. I do. I have weird Cure playlists on my phone. So this is just gonna become another one of like Chaz's Wish album, and it's just gonna be the exact order I want it to be in with the songs.
With the songs, right?
There you go.
So now that I have everything as well, as much as we'll have. So
you have it your way, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm loving it.
You're loving it. Awesome. Yeah, I mean it's part of the fun with it all, and like you said, nowadays you can just make your own version of whatever. So it's all there for you, which is great. And hopefully we'll get more on the 40th anniversary. They'll put out those extra 2 discs worth of even more shit. So
I think we've all heard like remastered or like anniversary albums that have been, quote, repackaged or redone or whatever, and they don't really nothing. You're like, all right. This like actually I think makes an impact.
Yeah.
Sound wise and like in enjoying the album. Just because it became so much more listenable.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know that it wasn't before until I heard this. And you're just like, holy shit, I've been living with this shit all my life, and
and just complements it well, saying,
absolutely.
and the fact that it does just flow so wonderfully where you can listen to it like it's its own thing. Super weird. I don't even know. Even the Disintegration one doesn't do that. You're just listening to pieces and stuff where you're like, cool, but this totally feels like its own thing. And I wonder if that was a conscious thing too, going back to what we're saying of like every version of Letter to Elise is awesome. And I bet there were other ones, and most people's reissues, they do have like multiple versions of the same song, but I think just it's a testament to how much great shit they had and just cool stuff they had at this time that they don't really even repeat any of these, right? When you look at it, it wasn't like there's 4 versions of Friday I'm in Love or any other band. Right. You probably would have had that where you get in every like halfway there, almost there version, then a live version, and it's just like, ugh. And that's usually what breaks up the flow is when you've heard like the same song 5 times in a row. You don't listen to it as like an album, but this flows, even with Frogfish.
I think that it's like they're probably trying to touch all the bases to give everybody a taste of everything. Yeah. But, as fans, we want everything. Like, we don't care if you have 30 different versions of Wendy Time. Like I personally, as a fan, like you could have 29 of them that are like Wawa like inspired ones, and I would listen to all of them.
Yeah.
I would cherish all of them. So I don't really give a fuck. Like give us everything.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, it is like a tough conflicting, do you make it more listenable or do you just dump it on? They should have done the online thing like we were saying earlier though, where you could have just downloaded it, but it wouldn't have been on the actual release. That way you just have it if you want it, kind of thing. So, but oh well, all the wouldas and shouldas. But
and I'm complaining even though I have like a gift in my hand.
Yeah, we're so happy we have it. We believe us. But I think overall it's finally we can stop bitching about it and
never
subversion like they said in the was it who asked that Coulter that was saying what are we hoping for next? The Wild Mood Swings one I guess would be the next deluxe if we make it that far.
I think what would be interesting about a Wild Mood Swings one is if they were using like trying out drummers and they were recording a lot of that. You could have completely different drummers on fucking songs, and I would love to hear that. But also giving it a retweak and a remaster and even a remix because it, by that point I'm sure that was all Pro Tools.
Yeah,
it wasn't tape. Would give it a more cohesive sound because it was recorded with different people in different studios over different amounts of time. So if you gave that one a remaster and a remix, it could really make a fucking giant impact.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the moods of the songs are different, but if the sound was more cohesive, from an audio standpoint, it would be less noticeable, and
Yeah.
I would definitely be all about hearing that.
I just want to hear what other stuff they had laying around.
Yeah.
Because there had to be stuff.
Oh my God.
What was on the cutting room floor?
Yeah. And like if some of that stuff made it on there, it's like, goddamn, what gross stuff was sitting in there?
Yeah.
That didn't,
Especially, because that was kind of the biggest fault with it is just some of the choices that were made were kind of suspect, like why that one, like especially when you do look at the B-sides, even as minimal or something as that, you're just like, okay, those some weird choices, why this, why that, so, there was like some cool shit that probably got left on the floor and,
yeah, like Adonis. I remember that song was definitely should have been on that album.
Yeah, Ocean's great. There's a lot of cool B-sides and
I'll take it over Mint Car.
No, listen, I love Mint Car. So there's other songs I would take off, like Gone,
Round and Round.
Round and Round and Round. But still, I would love to see a remaster of that and like just the jumbled mess that it was.
Yeah, you could harness that in a bit more for sure. So.
Which I mean, he did the whole interview last year for that magazine, about it. So maybe he's got something in it. But like, I would rather have him work on a new album before he did
exactly.
This shit.
He's like, oh yeah, let's do that now. I'm like, no, just finish the album. I gotta remix the new album because it's been so long since it's been finished. We get
a 30th anniversary of the unreleased album.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get the 5
years.
He's like, by the way, I redid the order of 413 Dream. Here you go.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a
minute. Oh God, I would actually love to hear that though. That's I don't know. Just
you gotta
because
keep going too. Yeah, like they gotta finish the deluxes at this point. They're so close. They got 4 more. They could just do them.
Yeah, and like you hear the bridges from Wish to Wild Mood Swings now, and those B-sides and the instrumentals and everything. That it'd be interesting to see what, if anything, actually transferred over.
Yeah.
And just hear.
Yeah, here's a weird reverse one for you, because we talked about some of these Wish songs that sound like they could have been on Wild Mood Swings. I feel like Underneath the Stars sounds like it could have been on Wish.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Like if you really think about it, like I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'm like,
that one definitely.
If you could pluck that from the future and pull it back,
I think that's why everyone loves that one so much. It's the most like throwback Cure from that album. You're just like, oh man, this sounds like classic Cure. This is. So.
What about self-titled, just Ross Robinson remixes of everything?
Yeah.
That's what's coming next.
That one. That's the only one I'm like, I'm cool with what we got. Let's move on to that.
Let's just move on and pretend it didn't happen.
And they actually do like really cool packaging with the CD and the
But even that, it probably does.
LP comes really nicely shipped.
There's some cool outtakes and stuff on that I would like a lot more. I'd much rather have the deluxe version of that has like Going Nowhere and, the
because at the end of the day, that would just be the equivalent of like dating a horrible ex again just because she got plastic surgery. It's like
there's a 5-minute track of just Ross Robinson screaming at
that'd be great, like a little hidden track of the whole fight captured. Yeesh. But, on that note, we will leave you good people out there, and we hope you enjoy your Wish Deluxe reissue on whatever format you may have found it or finally got it through the mail. Hopefully you got yours by now. If you don't, keep holding out hope. It'll be there eventually.
Cross your fingers.
And and hopefully everyone's enjoying it. And thanks for your patience waiting for us to get this episode out too. But I feel like that's the thing about Wish reissue is there's just endless patience. It's all about waiting, right? So here
there
it
was
is.
also a lot to sift through and listen to.
Yeah, we want to just.
It was a meaty package, you know?
Yeah, and you don't want the giddy initial excitement to overshadow it all. So I think it was good that we had time to kind of absorb it and let the, because it had been the initial shock. I just went like, this is the greatest thing ever. I can't wait.
Absolutely.
It's like now I'm like kind of calmed down. I'm like, yeah, it's great. But
yeah. And I don't mean to be all negative because I came off negative. It's a great job and it sounds amazing. I'm happy I have it. So yes.
I think compared to our other 9 Wish themed episodes, this was the least negative. So hopefully everybody can finally rest assured that we all love Wish now. So it's all good.
And we'll try to wait till at least 2024 before covering Wish again.
There you go. So we still need to get Antonio's official thoughts on the Antonio version of Wish. But I think we covered most of it in this one here. But we gotta get you.
Exactly.
But all right, until then, thank you so much, gentlemen, Chaz Antonio, and you guys for listening out there. Thank you to Danny, Coulter, Matt, and Tom for submitting thoughts and questions on the Patreon. We'll catch you soon. Sleep tight, everybody, and talk hard.
Later.
All right, we're going to try to keep this one short since I know we're running long and don't want to keep you up late on a school night. So don't want to depart without saying a wonderful thank you to our Patreon crew for submitting those questions again. If you want to be part of something like that, join the Patreon or go check it out at least. patreon.com/theholyhourpodcast and see if it's something you'd like to be a part of. I'm going to try to throw it out to them more so they get a little heads up on the topics before we start and you can contribute a little bit more. And I just posted an extra bonus exclusive episode too over there. Little mini holy half hours we call them. So little bonus exclusives you can only listen to over there at the Patreon site. So go check it out. We'd love to have you on this list. Speaking of the list, let's shout out these wonderful, lovely people. Donna, Craig, Jeff Hilton, Jeff Cortland, Jones, Sue, Ben, John, Allison, Alan, Dione, Namicio, Danny, Coulter, and Matt Ford, and Tom, and Letty. And Dana is also part of the club, and she's a motion designer and animator. You should totally check out her work at graphics.tv. That's graphics with an X.tv. There you can see some of her super talented artwork and also reach out to her if you are in need of an animator or motion designer to promote your business or project. Scott Kruger is the co-host of the Sarlacc Digest. It's an all Star Wars podcast, and you can listen and watch their live shows every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube, or catch the replays everywhere you listen to podcasts. Each week they bring you quality line talk and dive deep into everything Star Wars. Go check it out. Lisa also says check out dickensyyc.com. There you'll find the website for Calgary's coolest venue, and you see all the upcoming shows and events that they'll be hosting. Follow them also on Dickens YYC on Twitch to catch all the live streaming action. And of course, Matt suggests that you check out the Red Cross Blood Donor app. It's free and easy to use. You can find a location, schedule an appointment, donate blood with the Red Cross Blood Donor app. And Kate at CureThreads.com wants you to know that she is still running her Cure Fan Art Challenge, Artist of a Lost World. So continue to submit your artwork of any medium that is inspired by one of the new 5 Cure songs that we've heard on the last tour. Just hashtag Artist of a Lost World on your Instagram post of that art, and you'll see it. It runs until January 31st, so get a few more cool ones in before the end of the month, and be sure to check out everybody else's awesome artwork. There's been some really great ones so far. And of course, swing by CureThreads.com to get yourself something cool and Cure-themed original art from Kate. And of course, last but not least is 17secondshirts.bigcartel.com. That's the website run by our very own Chaz Murphy. And he creates his own Cure designs over there that you can get on pre-order. And actually, right now, it's a Susie and the Banshee shirt. So go over there and pre-order that before you miss out. When they're gone usually. You might luck out and get a leftover, but you don't want to bank on that, man. So go lock it down. 17secondshirts.bigcartel.com. That's where you'll find them. Don't miss out. Always cool, quality products and designs by Chaz over there. That about does it. Just subscribe on Apple, YouTube, anywhere you listen to podcasts that you need to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode of the Holy Hour podcast. And you can follow us on Instagram under the same name and our Facebook page as well, where you can find little extra nuggets that we throw out for each episode. You're always welcome to email me directly at gavinconner@gmail.com. Thanks again to Chaz and Antonio and you guys for listening. Hope all your wishes came true with this wonderful reissue deluxe. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Talk hard.